The crisis on our southern border is growing as more and more migrants take advantage of President Biden's, lax border policy. And members of Congress ventured to the border this weekend to see what exactly is going on firsthand. National correspondent Logan Ratick joins us from Capitol Hill with the latest. Logan?
Bob, Heather, good afternoon. The situation at our southern border is overwhelming, and at the Rio Grande Valley sector in Texas, Border Patrol agents are releasing illegal immigrants into the U.S. because they're running out of room to place them. But these immigrants are also being released without a court date, and even still, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says the Biden administration is putting its foot down when it comes to this growing problem.
Do not come. The border is closed. The border is secure. We are expelling families. We are expelling single adults. We are building safe, orderly, and humane ways to address the needs of vulnerable children.
Customs and Border Patrol has over 5,000 unaccompanied minors in custody, and more than 30,000 crossed the border in February alone. But migrants are saying President Biden encouraged them to come here illegally through his words and actions.
Biden promised that we can cross with minors.
Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn visited the border in Arizona and talked to a county sheriff about the differences in policies between Presidents Trump and Biden.
But President Trump, working with sheriffs, working with mayors, working with state governors, we came up with some good things. We had manageable calm. When President Biden took office, based on his policies, his decisions, we've lost that. Now we have unorganized chaos and crisis on our southwest border.
Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton agrees with the sheriff.
It was the Biden administration that dismantled three highly effective policies. First, the public health exclusionary order. They lifted that order as it relates to minors. Well, guess what we have now at the border? Lots more minors. That's not a surprise. Second, the Remain in Mexico policy. The Trump administration worked with the government of Mexico to allow migrants who showed up on our border to make an asylum claim, but remain in Mexico while we adjudicated that, rather than just releasing them into the country. And third, the so-called Safe Third Country Agreement with countries like Guatemala that says if you pass through a country that's not your own seeking asylum, you have to make that asylum claim in the first country you pass through.
And just a short time ago, a pair of senators, John Cornyn, a Republican, and Kyrsten Sinema, a Democrat, wrote a letter to President Biden. And they say, quote, "Your administration should take immediate action in two areas, ensuring there are sufficient resources and facilities at the border to manage the crisis, and taking concrete steps to improve the asylum process." And as you can see, this is a bipartisan issue that won't be going away anytime soon. And there's a growing chorus of Democrats calling on the Biden administration to improve its policies on our border. Bob, Heather, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Logan. Well, our next guest is joining 9 House Republicans calling for a hearing on President Biden's handling of the border crisis. Joining us to discuss is Republican Congressman from Utah, Burgess Owens. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you about this. What we're seeing is purposeful chaos. President Biden should be ashamed of himself. One of the things that we got rid of a long time ago, we fought against, was human trafficking 200 years ago. We're now seeing it happening at the border, and I believe personally, you can't do this on accident. What he's making a mess of and the misery that's bringing to so many people. So yes, I would suggest President Biden, first of all, take his time out, go down and see what's happening there. Stop seeing his folks out there being dishonest with us about the tragedy that's happening down there, and the people that are being drawn to our country and going through misery in the process of getting that done. So we need to address this. It is no question a crisis, no question, and anybody who cares about real people can understand that.
Congressman, I want to get your reaction to DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas making the media rounds yesterday, as we saw, blaming Mr. Trump for the border crisis. Listen.
Because the entire system was dismantled by the prior administration. There was a system in place in both Republican and Democratic administrations that was torn down during the Trump administration, and that is why the challenge is more acute than it ever has been before.
Response, sir.
What we expect from our officials is honesty. That's all we expect. Just be honest with us. There are people down on the border right now are realizing that this guy is being dishonest in every single fashion And if the media would be honest with their coverage, it'll be seen as a tragedy what's going on. So I think if we're going to come out of this, number one, is going to see that we did have policies in place that brought order to our border, which allows us here in this country to feel safe, to make we can put our priorities in where they should be, where our children should be prioritized first, our jobs should be prioritized first, our health should be prioritized first. And what we're seeing right now is a dishonesty from the Biden organization who believes that we just don't have the common sense to believe our lying eyes. So I hope the American people understand what's happening here. The contrast is obvious. We see what happened in the last 4 years, and the building of the wall, bringing order to the border. We see what's happening right now is nothing but dishonesty, is misery, and it's on purpose because we're actually using this to draw people to the border and then one day to get their power. And that's at the end of the day, that's what they're all about.
All right. Well, Congressman Owens, we're going to cut it short just a little bit because we're having some audio issues. But thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it, and hopefully something will be done soon.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All the best.
Well, a federal judge.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.